let's talk guerrilla marketing and outside the box strategies that you can use for your junk removal business. Because we all know that most of our competitors and most of the people in your area, we're all doing a lot of the same things, whether it be on social media or running ads. And something that I've noticed is that the companies who tend to do very well typically do a great job of outside the box thinking. They have a couple of different things that they do that most do not, and it helps separate themselves from their competitors and bring in more business. So my job in these videos is to help give you guys some of those strategies as well as the ones that are commonly used. I had a great meeting with a local client here, and we talked about something that 1-800-GOT-JUNK does here in the area that works very well for them, and I wanted to translate it to some of you. Got Junk may be doing it in your area as well, but there's a couple of ideas I wanted to wrap around this and bring it to your attention. So this comes down to both outside the box thinking and guerrilla marketing. So some of us watching the channel, you guys have already used yard signs. Maybe you've had success, maybe you haven't. And I don't have an issue with yard signs, door hangers, any of that stuff. Anytime a client mentions those things, I say, as long as the cost is suitable for you, I'm on board. Because anytime that I have a chance to get my company image or phone number in front of a customer, that's always going to be a good thing, because the more that they see me, the more likely they're going to be to do business with me. All right. So this was in relation more to yard signs with 1-800-GOT-JUNK here in the area. And what they do here is essentially they will do business with a customer, put a yard sign down, and let the customer know that they're going to be back to pick this up in a week. And then they will come back, grab that yard sign, and then put it in the next customer's yard. And I really like the idea behind this, and I'll kind of tell you why. So yard signs, if we're putting them, in different areas of town, we know most likely they're going to be picked up within a few days, if not a lot faster than that. You can land in hot water depending on where you're located. Some cities and towns are really against it, so you run that risk as well. And with this, you don't run those same risks, right? This is going to be in a location that has been approved by your customer. And, especially for those neighborhoods that you really want to get more business in, this is a great idea, because now you essentially have a billboard in that neighborhood with your business name, number, and everything listed on the yard sign. Now, you could go about this simply and not go this route where you pick it up in 10 days because you don't want to go back to the customer, and I'm not opposed to that. I'll tell you why I like this idea, though. One of the things I really like about it is when I look at a customer putting a yard sign in their yard. If it were me, I'm probably not going to leave that yard sign in my yard for a very long amount of time. Right? So it's rare that they're just going to leave that yard sign up there for a couple months. Okay, they're probably going to take it down within a few days anyway. Or they may say, yeah, I'm fine with you putting it up, and then when you leave, they may take it down. Okay, so then it did no service for us whatsoever. I love the idea of being able to go back and take up the yard sign, because the customer knows it's not going to be up for a very lengthy amount of time. And then number two, they're going to be a lot more likely to keep it up because they know you're coming back to pick it up. So if they feel like you're coming back to pick it up and they take it out of the yard, now it's going to be very hard for one, you to pick it up. Two, now they're going to know the customer didn't keep it up. All right. So that's one thing I really like about it. All right. The other side of it is you really shouldn't have to go out of your way to pick it back up, because if it's working, ideally what's going to happen is a few of their neighbors and people in the neighborhood are going to give you a call for you to do and perform a junk removal service in that area, right? So now when you're back in that area, you can pick up the yard sign a little early. You can do what you will when it comes to that, but you should be back in that area if this is working. Now, you could go about this a few different ways. Obviously, for those of you in the West Coast, California, I know fuel is not cheap right now. So you may not want to do this with every customer, right? You may only want to do it with customers who are closer to where you live or closer to where the office is, or maybe somewhere where you typically do a lot of business anyway. You're just looking to do more. So you can be very strategic in the way that you want to go about this. But this idea really gives me a little bit of excitement because I feel like it accomplishes a few things, all right? One, it's low cost. All right. So if you're picking up the yard signs, now you don't have to get new yard signs. You're repurposing them, right? So you can get a set amount of yard signs and repurpose them. So it's a lower cost option. The other thing that I like about it is it can extend your revenue on what you're currently doing. So what do I mean by that? So let's say, for instance, that one of the customers that you put a yard sign down for was a Google Ads customer. And in your market, it's taken you $30, $40, or $50 to acquire that customer. Well, now, let's say that customer, that job was about $250, okay? So it took you $50 to acquire $250 from that customer, essentially. Well, now, what if we put these yard signs down and 3 neighbors book jobs with us now? Now you've just taken that $50 cost per acquisition add in whatever that yard sign costs you, which you're repurposing, and add in the 3 jobs that came in. So now your $50 Google cost per acquisition just netted maybe $1,500 or $1,250 or $1,000. So this is a really creative way, low risk, low cost, to try and drive your return on investment in marketing, in SEO, or whatever else you're doing to get in front of that original customer. That's why I really like this idea. You could go door hangers as well, and I'm sure some of you do. I would be willing to test that out as well. But I do really like this yard sign idea because I feel like it has a lot of potential in a few different areas. It's low risk, as I mentioned, and it's a creative way to now know that the yard sign's going to stay up. You'll pick it back up and then repurpose it for the next customer. So I'll leave that up to you guys on whether you would want to return and pick it back up or not. I think the advantage of that is that the customer, now will most likely leave it up until you pick it back up. And that's one of the key things about this that I think works. So if this is something that you guys are willing to try, let me know in the comments. As I mentioned, this is just a creative way to get in front of more people at a lower cost, which is something that I think we all want to accomplish at the end of the day as business owners. So I hope this helps some of you guys who were trying to think of some outside of the box strategies. If you have any questions on this, leave them in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.